Imagine waking up on your 32nd birthday, opening your investment app, and realizing a massive weight has just been lifted off your shoulders. You look at the numbers, and the math confirms it. You never have to save another penny for retirement. Ever again, you don't have to obsess over contribution limits. You don't have to funnel half your paycheck into index funds, and the heavy lifting of building wealth is officially done. From this day forward, for the next 30 years, you only need to earn exactly what you spend. This is the core premise of Coast Fire. It is a financial concept that has completely taken over the internet because it offers a very appealing middle ground. It promises the freedom to step off the aggressive savings treadmill decades before traditional retirement age. But when we look past the neat rows of a spreadsheet, this mathematical utopia has some hidden complexities. If executed without a deep understanding of market history and human behavior, stepping off the gas pedal too early can lead to some unexpected financial stress later in life. Today, we are going to unpack the mechanics of Coast Fire, correct a major misconception about how it actually works, and explore whether stopping your savings early is a viable strategy or a statistical trap. I'm Tony, and welcome to Grow with Tony. Here, we break down the psychology of money, explore wealth-building frameworks, and figure out how to navigate personal finance with a bit more clarity. Just a quick note before we get into the numbers. I'm sharing my personal research and analysis here for educational purposes. This isn't personalized financial advice, so always use your own judgment and do what makes sense for your unique situation. To understand why Coast Fire is so appealing, we have to look at the engine that drives it: compound interest. The standard financial independence movement, or traditional FIRE, requires you to aggressively save and invest until you have a portfolio large enough to live off of completely. For most people, that means grinding away at a high-stress job until they hit $1 or $2 million. Coast Fire approaches the problem differently. It asks a simple question: what if you just front-load the effort? There's a simple formula behind compound interest, but you don't need to be a math person to get it. Your ending balance comes down to three things: the money you start with, the rate it grows at, and, most importantly, how long it stays invested. And here's the key: time matters far more than the size of that starting amount. Let's say you live well below your means in your 20s. You work hard, you optimize your expenses, and by age 30, you have invested $100,000 into broadly diversified low-cost index funds. Historically, the stock market has returned an average of about 10% annually. When we adjust for an average inflation rate of 3%, we get a real return of about 7%. If you simply leave that $100,000 alone, letting it compound at a 7% real return, it will double roughly every 10 years. By age 65, without you ever adding another single dollar, that initial investment will grow to over $1 million in today's purchasing power. That is the Coast Fire milestone. The retirement nest egg is secure. You can now take your foot off the brake. But here is where a massive factual error often circulates online. People frequently confuse Coast Fire with something called barista fire. They assume that hitting your Coast number means you immediately quit your corporate job to go pour coffee, stock shelves, or work a minimum wage job. That is not what Coast Fire is. Coast Fire simply means your retirement is fully funded by your past efforts. What you do with your current income is entirely up to you. You could stay in your exact same high-paying job, but instead of saving 40% of your income, you can now spend 100% of it. You could use that money to travel, upgrade your lifestyle, or donate to charity. Alternatively, you could choose to negotiate fewer hours, take a lower-paying job in a field you are passionate about, or start a risky business. The defining factor isn't what job you take. It's the fact that your current income only needs to cover your current expenses. On paper, this sounds flawless. It is a highly efficient way to design a life. But personal finance does not happen on a spreadsheet. It happens in the real world, and the real world introduces variables that the calculators simply cannot predict. The first major variable is the nature of stock market returns. When you plug your numbers into a retirement calculator, it uses an annualized average. It assumes your portfolio will gently and predictably tick upward by 7% every single year. But anyone who has studied market history knows that equities do not move in a straight line. They are highly volatile during the wealth accumulation phase. When you are actively investing a portion, every paycheck, market volatility is actually highly beneficial. When the market drops by 20%, your monthly contributions are buying shares at a discount. You are lowering your average cost basis, which supercharges your returns when the market eventually recovers. But the moment you transition to Coastfire, your relationship with the market fundamentally changes. You are no longer adding fresh capital to your investments. You are relying entirely on the existing balance to compound. Let's look at a historical scenario. Imagine it is the year 1999. You are 32 years old. You just hit your Coastfire target, and you decide to leave your demanding tech job to work at a nonprofit. Your new salary perfectly covers your living expenses but leaves zero room for investing. Then, the dot-com bubble bursts. Over the next 2.5 years, the S&P 500 loses nearly half its value, and the Nasdaq loses almost 80%. Because you are coasting, you have no surplus income to buy the dip. You simply have to watch your portfolio shrink. Just as the market begins to recover in the mid-2000s, the 2008 global financial crisis hits, sending the markets crashing down again. By the end of 2009, an entire decade has passed. If you had stopped investing in 1999, your portfolio, adjusted for inflation, would actually be worth less 10 years later. In finance, this is known as a lost decade. It is a period where the market yields zero or negative real returns. When you model Coastfire, the math is incredibly sensitive to the sequence of returns. If you experience a massive bull market in your first 10 years of coasting, you will likely end up with far more money than you ever need. But if you experience a lost decade immediately after you stop contributing, the compounding effect stalls out completely. By the time you reach 65, you might find yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars short of your target. This isn't to say the strategy is flawed, but it highlights a critical vulnerability. Removing the ability to dollar-cost average during market downturns removes one of the strongest safety nets an investor has. The second variable that often disrupts the Coastfire model is human nature itself. The fundamental rule of the coasting phase, if you choose to downshift your income, is that you only need to earn what you spend right now. If your current life costs $40,000 a year, your target income is $40,000 a year. But this assumes that your desires, your needs, and your circumstances will remain entirely static for the next 3 decades. When we look at behavioral psychology and life trajectories, we know this is rarely the case. What a 28-year-old considers a comfortable lifestyle is often very different from what a 45-year-old considers comfortable. In your 20s, renting a small apartment with roommates, driving an older car, and traveling on a tight budget often feels like an adventure. It is highly manageable. However, as time passes, our tolerance for inconvenience naturally decreases. This isn't necessarily dangerous lifestyle creep. It is often just the natural evolution of getting older. You might eventually want to live without roommates. You might want a mattress that provides better support. You might prefer a direct flight instead of a cheaper route with multiple layovers. Furthermore, life events introduce massive, unpredictable costs. You might decide to get married or have children, which completely rewrites your budget. You might have aging parents who require financial assistance. Or, perhaps most significantly, you might face unexpected healthcare costs. In many parts of the world, particularly in countries without universal healthcare, medical expenses are the single largest wildcard in financial planning. A Coastfire budget based on the health and vitality of a 30-year-old rarely accounts for the premiums, deductibles, and out-of-pocket costs that tend to arise in our 40s and 50s. To put a real number on it, Fidelity estimates that a 65-year-old retiring in 2025 will spend on average about $172,500 on healthcare over the course of retirement, and that is for a single person, after taxes, and on top of Medicare. Back in 2002, that same estimate was just $80,000. So this is a cost that only moves in one direction. If you have intentionally downshifted your career to earn just enough to cover a baseline budget, any unexpected expense or natural desire for a lifestyle upgrade becomes a financial crisis. You have engineered a life where you are technically financially independent for the future, but practically living paycheck to paycheck in the present. Living with zero financial margin, even by choice, introduces a subtle but constant layer of stress that can offset the peace of mind Coast Fire was supposed to provide. This brings us to a very practical career analysis. What happens if your expenses do go up, or inflation runs hotter than expected, and you realize you need to increase your income again? If you chose to use Coast Fire to simply spend your whole paycheck while staying in your career, you are fine. You just dial back your spending and resume saving. But if you chose to downshift, if you left a specialized, high-earning profession for a low-stress, lower-paying job, reversing that decision is incredibly difficult. In economics, there is a concept called human capital. It is the economic value of a worker's experience, skills, and network. When you are actively working in a professional field, your human capital is appreciating. You are learning new software, understanding new market trends, and building relationships. When you step away from that industry for 3, 5, or 10 years to coast, your human capital rapidly depreciates. Industries evolve. Technologies change. The network of people who could refer you for a job moves on to different companies. If you wake up at 42 and realize you need to return to your previous high-income career, you cannot simply pick up where you left off. To a hiring manager, a 5-year gap on a resume, or 5 years spent working in an entirely unrelated, lower-skill field presents a risk. You are no longer competing against your former peers. You are competing against a younger, hungrier generation of workers whose skills are entirely up to date. This is the hidden risk of downshifting too aggressively. You might inadvertently trade your most valuable asset, your professional earning power, for short-term relaxation. You step off the ladder to buy freedom, but in doing so, you might limit your options later in life. So, knowing all these variables, market volatility, changing lifestyle needs, and the depreciation of human capital, how do we approach Coast Fire objectively? How do people actually utilize this concept without exposing themselves to these risks? The answer lies in building a robust margin of safety and avoiding extreme career pivots. First, when calculating your Coast Fire number, conservative modeling is essential. Instead of assuming a historical 7% real return, many analysts suggest modeling for a 4 or 5% real return. Instead of stopping exactly when you hit your target number, you might aim for a number that is 20 or 30% higher. You plan for higher inflation, and you assume healthcare will be more expensive. By stress testing the math, you ensure that even if you face a lost decade, your portfolio will still reach its destination. Second, rather than executing a hard stop on your career, many find success through gradual transitions. Instead of leaving a high-paying profession entirely, you might use your financial stability to negotiate better terms within it. If you have reached your Coast number, you now have leverage. You can ask to transition to a 4-day workweek or a remote-only position, or pivot into a consulting role. This approach accomplishes 3 things simultaneously. It provides a higher income than a drastic downshift, giving you a wider buffer for unexpected expenses. It significantly reduces your workplace stress, which was likely the goal in the first place. And most importantly, it preserves your human capital. By keeping one foot in your industry, your skills remain sharp and your network remains active. If you ever need to ramp your income back up, the bridge is still intact. Coast Fire is a fascinating and mathematically sound concept. It proves that time in the market is incredibly powerful, and it challenges the narrative that we have to grind relentlessly until our late 60s, but financial models exist in a vacuum, and our lives do not. True financial freedom isn't just about hitting a specific number in an investment account. It is about building a life that is resilient enough to handle a shifting economy, and flexible enough to accommodate the fact that as we grow, our goals and desires will inevitably change. I'd love to hear your perspective on this. Do you think the idea of reaching a Coast Fire number and downshifting your career is worth the potential risks, or do you prefer the traditional route of maintaining a high income to build A larger safety net? Let me know in the comments below. I always appreciate reading through your different viewpoints. And if you found this breakdown helpful and want to continue exploring the mechanics of wealth building and personal finance with a grounded, objective approach, consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.